Today is Thursday, June 5th. We have the nonpartisan analysis of President Trump's big, beautiful bill that could impact its future in the Senate. Also, who's included in Trump's new travel ban, and how Republicans are now investigating the inner workings of the Biden administration. Plus, we'll tell you about a new warning over ground beef, a 40-year search for a famous movie prop, and why you might notice fewer rainbow flags this Pride Month. Those stories and even more news to know next. Welcome to The Newsworthy. All the day's news in around 10 minutes. Fast, fair, fun, and on the go. I'm Erica Mandy. Thanks so much for being here. You ready? Let's do this. Congress's nonpartisan analyst has now weighed in on a couple of President Trump's top priorities, starting with what Trump calls the big, beautiful bill that's making its way through Congress now. The Congressional Budget Office put out a new forecast showing it would grow the federal deficit by $2.4 trillion over the next 10 years. It comes as hardline conservative Republicans in Congress and billionaire Elon Musk have been criticizing the bill for just that reason, saying it's too expensive. Remember, the measure would cut more than $1 trillion in spending, with cuts to Medicaid, housing assistance, food stamps, and more. But it would also mean less money coming in, since it would extend the president's tax cuts from 2017 and add new ones, as well as step up spending for the military and border security. Plus, it lifts the federal government's debt ceiling. Despite concerns over the price tag, supporters argue it would stimulate the economy, meaning it would basically pay for itself. The bill has already passed the House, and it's being considered in the Senate now. Meanwhile, the Congressional Budget Office also weighed in on President Trump's tariffs, saying they could lower the deficit by $2.8 trillion if they're kept in place for the next 10 years. In other words, they could bring in more money than what the big, beautiful bill is expected to cost. But the CBO also said the tariffs would reduce the size of the American economy and cause more inflation, in part because of other countries retaliating against the U.S. To be clear, this doesn't take into account the recent trade court ruling removing most tariffs that was later put on hold, or of course any trade deals that might be reached in the future. So stay tuned. President Trump is bringing back one of the most controversial policies from his first term and expanding it. We're talking about a travel ban set to go into effect next week. With that, citizens from 12 different countries will be banned, including people from Afghanistan, Haiti, Iran, the Republic of Congo, and Yemen. There will also be heightened restrictions on people from 7 other countries like Cuba, Sierra Leone, and Venezuela. Basically, they're being banned from immigrating permanently or getting tourist or student visas. But people from those 7 countries will still be eligible for temporary work visas. And there will be exceptions for the World Cup next year and the Olympics in 2028. Trump says the restrictions are necessary since some countries aren't doing enough screening and vetting or have refused to take back their own citizens. In other cases, the White House said countries had an unacceptably high rate of people overstaying their visas. But critics say banning people fleeing dangerous countries punishes the wrong people and destabilizes global security. Either way, the ban was not unexpected since Trump promised it during the presidential campaign. So it's unlikely it will cause scenes of chaos at airports around the country like the first travel ban did. 2 Chinese nationals are now accused of smuggling a toxic fungus into the U.S. that's been known to kill crops and make people sick. They're both researchers studying biological pathogens that can infect crops, and they say they were planning to use the material for research at a University of Michigan lab where one of them worked. Their messages even suggest they were already working with the toxic fungus before they were caught. But the university does not have federal permits to handle it. Now, university officials say they condemn any action that threatens national security, and they're cooperating with law enforcement. It was another high-stakes phone call between President Trump and Russian President Vladimir Putin. But in the end, Trump said it's clear Russia's war in Ukraine is not going to be over anytime soon. In fact, he said the Russian leader is planning to retaliate against Ukraine for its weekend attack in Russia. Trump did not say whether he tried to discourage Putin from attacking Ukraine, just that it was a, quote, good conversation, but not a conversation that will lead to immediate peace. Meanwhile, the U.S. is redirecting some critical anti-drone technology from Ukraine and giving it to American forces in the Middle East instead. And yesterday, Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth skipped a meeting with his European counterparts about coordinating military aid to Ukraine. For now, the Pentagon has declined requests for comment. Wildfire smoke from Canada is still hovering over large portions of the U.S., from the upper Midwest to New England to the Southeast. And it's not just causing hazy skies, but potentially dangerous air quality concerns. The EPA says short-term exposure could lead to bronchitis, worsen asthma, and create other health issues. Some of the worst air quality readings yesterday were in cities like Milwaukee, Wisconsin, and many alerts are still in place, at least through this morning. The trouble is the more than 200 wildfires burning Canadian forests. Already, they've scorched more than 5.4 million acres. Firefighters are up against strong winds, heavy smoke, and remote areas with tall flames. So in the areas where there's no immediate threat to human life, buildings, or infrastructure, the wildfires are just being allowed to burn. To be continued. More news still coming up, but first, thanks to our sponsor, ZocDoc. Are you feeling the effects of allergies where you live? I mean, listen, I love this time of year with all the flowers and butterflies, but this time of year also tends to come with some extra sniffles for kids and adults with allergies or sensitivities. Thanks to ZocDoc, allergy relief and other care you and your family may need is a little easier to find. ZocDoc is a free app and website where you can search and compare high-quality in-network doctors and click to instantly book an appointment. I love having this very specific search function at my fingertips so I don't waste my time calling around all the doctor's offices that don't even take my insurance. Been there, done that, no thank you. ZocDoc has more than 100,000 doctors across every specialty, from mental health to dental health, primary care to urgent care, and more. And you can filter for doctors who take your insurance, are located nearby, and are highly rated by verified patients. So stop putting off those doctor's appointments and go to ZocDoc.com/newsworthy to find and instantly book a top-rated doctor today. That's ZocDoc.com/newsworthy. ZocDoc.com/newsworthy. The Newsworthy is also brought to you by Quince. Father's Day gifting tends to look kind of the same every year in my house, and it's kind of boring for everyone. So this year, I want to do better. I'll be ordering from Quince. Quince has all the pieces dads actually want to wear. Think organic cotton silk polos, European linen beach shorts, and comfortable pants that work for everything from weekend hangouts to nice dinners. And as you've probably heard me talk about before, Quince makes gifting affordable because everything with Quince is priced 50 to 80% less than what you'd find at similar brands. By working directly with top artisans and cutting out the middleman, Quince gives you luxury pieces without the crazy markups. And Quince only works with factories that use safe, ethical, and responsible manufacturing practices and premium fabrics and finishes. I'm eyeing a great new pair of shorts for the summer for my husband. He insists on both comfort with style, and Quince has so many great options. For the dads who deserve better than basic, Quince has you covered. Go to quince.com/newsworthy for free shipping on your order and 365-day returns. That's QUINCE.com/newsworthy to get free shipping and 365-day returns. Quince.com/newsworthy. Now back to the news. Today is World Environment Day. It's the day the United Nations set aside in the 1970s for encouraging people to take action to protect the planet. It's celebrated across more than 150 countries with things like cleanup campaigns, reforestation efforts, and educational programs. Each year, a different country hosts the official celebrations and helps set the theme. This year, South Korea is host, and the theme is Beat Plastic Pollution. People are encouraged to switch to reusable products and avoid single-use plastics. Former President Biden may be out of politics for now, but President Trump and his allies in Congress are still making him the target of investigations. Just yesterday, Trump told his administration to investigate whether Biden's aides conspired to deceive the public about their boss's mental decline and whether they used an autopen to sign documents without the president knowing about it. An autopen is a mechanical device that replicates a person's authentic signature. Autopens have actually been used in the White House for decades by both Democratic and Republican presidents. But when it comes to Biden, Trump says it was a conspiracy and that it made many of his actions invalid. As Trump put it, quote, "This conspiracy marks one of the most dangerous and concerning scandals in American history." Biden responded last night to say it was always him making the decisions in his presidency and that, quote, "Any suggestion that I didn't is ridiculous and false." Meanwhile, the Republican House Oversight Chairman, James Comer, requested transcribed interviews with 5 Biden aides to know who was really calling the shots in the Biden White House. And he says subpoenas would be issued this week. Most counties in the U.S. have seen a drop in kids getting the standard measles, mumps, and rubella vaccine. The American Medical Association published a new Johns Hopkins study this week. It shows how childhood vaccination rates against the measles fell in 80% of more than 2,000 counties with data available. And that includes areas that are now battling outbreaks. Nearly 1,100 measles cases have now been confirmed in the U.S. so far this year. and most of them are in people who are not vaccinated. But public health officials still say the vaccine is safe and highly effective. Now, 2025 is inching closer to becoming the worst for measles in more than 3 decades. The USDA put out a public health alert about organic ground beef that could be contaminated with E. coli. The 1-pound packages from Organic Rancher was distributed to Whole Foods locations in nearly 30 states around the country. They're not available to buy anymore, but they are likely still in a lot of homes since the best buy date is still a couple of weeks away. So officials say if you have a package at home, throw it away or return it. We've posted a link in today's episode notes on our website with more information. Uber has officially launched senior accounts to help simplify ride-sharing for older adults. The accounts include larger text, easy-to-follow directions, and fewer buttons. Users can save places that they visit regularly for quick access and pay with either a credit card or Medicare Flex card for eligible medical rides. Seniors' family members can also use the app to keep track of their loved ones, book rides for them more easily, and contact the driver if needed. A family member just has to invite the older adult to join their profile, or Uber has the option for older adults to get the same streamlined experience without a family profile. Uber executives say it's important since transportation is one of the biggest barriers older people have to independence. Uber competitor Lyft also launched its Lyft Silver feature for seniors last month. The movie Back to the Future is about to turn 40, and now the cast has reunited, hoping to help find an iconic piece of the movie's history. The red Gibson guitar Marty McFly played at a 1950s school dance went missing after production wrapped, and now the actor who played him, Michael J. Fox, is asking for the public's help in finding it, along with many of his co-stars and singer Huey Lewis, who had a song featured in the movie. The guitar's manufacturer, Gibson, has even started filming a documentary called Lost to the Future, all about the search. People can submit tips about the guitar's whereabouts on losttothefuture.com. That's it for the main news today, so now it's time for Thing to Know Thursday. It's officially Pride Month, but this year it's not being celebrated quite as loudly as in years past, when businesses hung rainbow flags in their windows, displayed LGBTQ-themed merchandise, changed their logos on social media, and spotlighted donations to LGBTQ rights groups. This year, companies are treading lightly. A risk management advisory group called Gravity Research did a survey of more than 200 corporate executives, and nearly 40% of them said they plan to scale back their public Pride Month engagements. Many of them cited pressure from the Trump administration as the main reason for changing their approach. And for now, the White House says President Trump has no plans to issue a proclamation recognizing June as Pride Month. Trump actually never recognized Pride Month during his first term either. But it's not just the White House. Companies that have publicly acknowledged Pride have faced some pushback. For example, a group of congressional Republicans accused PBS of grooming children because Sesame Street shared a social media post recognizing Pride Month. And other companies have faced boycotts. Meanwhile, the proportion of American adults who identify as LGBTQ has risen to 9.3% of the population. And many of them still plan to celebrate Pride with parades, races, memorials, concerts, workshops, and more. The largest parade is in New York City on June 29th. Well, thank you so much for listening today and every day. We'll catch you up on more news to know tomorrow. Until then, have a great day.